a scenic mountain lake and forest ready to explore, and a clean, cool breeze that fills the area. A sporadic summer shower that saturates and nurtures the greens and browns all around, and then ending the day at the campsite with a crackling campfire, roasting a marshmallow and making s'mores, and then finally crawling into the tent for a good night's rest. All of this to rise and shine early, to happen upon a chance encounter with a peculiar forest creature that is so bold and vibrant, a creature that would capture my attention for a lifetime. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the great outdoors, the Salamander Wilds. And in this video, I'm going to be doing something kind of different today. I'm going to be looking for none other than my favorite animal, the one that got me started on it all, the eastern newt. Now, the eastern newt is an animal that really has a special place in my heart. Imagine, if you will, as a little kid and you're out exploring the forest. You already have this sense of adventure. You want to see the plants, the animals that are out there, but as much as you're already seeing, you come across something very unexpected. There's one thing that stands out among all of the typical colors of the forest that you would normally see: the greens, the browns, and a few other things in between. You see this one animal that stands out above all the rest with this bright, vivid, orange, reddish coloration, and it simply just looks fake. It looks like a toy. It doesn't look like it belongs in the environment that you found it. As a child, finding an animal like this, I was hooked, completely hooked, and since then I've wanted to know everything that I could about this little newt. And so part of doing this YouTube channel, I've always wanted to be able to capture that intrigue and hopefully even childlike innocence and maybe some of the secretive lifestyles that these animals lead, because a lot of people that I talk to simply don't know about newts and salamanders at all. They think that maybe they're lizards due to the similarities in appearance, such as a tail, 4 legs, they crawl around, but they couldn't be further from a lizard. They're amphibians just like frogs. And the eastern newt in particular has 3 complex lifestyles, from the aquatic feathery-gilled larva that needs water to survive and breathe, and then it morphs into the terrestrial red eft that can last in this stage on land for about 4 to 6 years, until it matures into the aquatic adult, and it will spend the rest of its life in the water from there, where it will breed and start the cycle all over again. It is autumn. The leaves are changing into such an array of beautiful reds, oranges, yellows, some browns, a mixture of greens in between. It's very beautiful out here. And in this lake, there are adult eastern newts. What I want to do is truly dive deep into the story of this animal, capture it on camera, and really show all of you what this animal is about and how it captivated me from the start as well. So I'm going to start by looking for this animal right now at this location. There's actually a few different areas that I'm going to poke around in, and I'll be looking for the aquatic adult first, and then from there we're going to transition to look for the red eft that has such a difference in lifestyle that it's almost hard to believe it's the same animal. So we're going to get started, and we are going to dive into the story of the eastern newt. So I didn't have to go far at all. I actually see one right here. There's an adult, and I believe it's a male. Yep, there it goes, there it goes. There it goes. All right, I wonder if I could do this without getting too messy here. Nope, it got away. It got away. But there are so many of them here. This is gonna be fairly easy. It's not gonna take too long to really be able to spot a few more and even grab one to get a nice look. Nope, okay, I gotta be careful because I'm about to scare this one away. I still see it. There you are, I still see you. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna miss here. Yep, I got it. I got it. Got it, got it, got it. Nope, 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 nope. Ooh. No. Okay. I got it. It almost got away because I've got a lot of things in my hand, some extra things that I don't want in my hand here. Okay. Oh, look, there's two more. Two more. See, I knew this wasn't gonna take long. Yeah, here we go. So, got a male. Look at the back legs here. See, in the back legs, actually, if I could get a nice shot, we've got some black pads right on the back legs, and that cloaca on the back is also very enlarged here. This male is clearly in breeding condition at the moment, and if it sees a female, it will actually launch itself very quickly to grasp that female. Now, the males will grasp each other in an effort to find a mate because they are very quick, and whatever they can latch onto, they will, but they will very quickly find out if it is a female or not. And this process is very competitive. Two males were doing exactly that, and the other male got away, while the one is just floating nearby, not too far from here right now, actually. So this is actually a very nice sized male. You can see the red spots right here on this individual, right? It goes all along the back, and they retain these red spots from when they are red Fs into adulthood, right? When they start to develop this coloration at the beginning of becoming an Eft, they will retain these red spots, and that is a warning sign that these animals contain toxins. This animal is indeed fully aquatic. Now, it doesn't breathe in the water. It does need to come up for air. Now, I don't want to dry this little guy out, so let me just wet him real quick, because that wouldn't be good for him. I don't want to stress him out. I want to keep him as relaxed as I possibly can here. This is such a beautiful animal. It was just such a big deal when I found out that the red Eft Eastern Newt that I found so many years ago as a child ends up becoming this olive green adult with this yellow coloration on the belly. Still such a beautiful animal, but a drastic change in coloration, and yet they are one in the same animal here. So I'm going to put this little fella back. There's a lot more to see. There you go. There he goes, just like that. Nice and calm, didn't panic. So I do want to get my hands on a female to show the difference in size, because males do tend to be more slender, and the females also tend to be larger to be able to carry the eggs. Okay, well, I thought I had grabbed the female. That definitely is not the case. I did pick up another male, which is totally fine. This is such a beautiful looking one too. I mean, just look at the coloration on this one. I feel like the green on this is definitely much more vivid. It comes through a lot more than the first one that I found. The first Eastern Newt was definitely darker in coloration. Those nice red spots, and then can even see the black tips on the hind leg right there. Well, green tips really, but look at that yellow belly, spotted. There's just such a complexity and coloration going on even with the adults, that even though it does not possess that orange coloration anymore that is clearly the most eye-catching between the two, really this is something in itself to appreciate. But look at how enlarged that cloaca is, and then even the hind legs, can just see how they really are meant for grasping. And then look at how the snout is to the back of the eye. You got that stripe going down, just kind of aligning with the way the eye is itself. The story of this animal still has many chapters to it. There's much more to tell, and I want to tell that story to the end. And that's what I'm going to do. So let me put this beautiful male back into the water. Let me not stress it out any further. And from here, I will come back during the right time, when breeding season really does kick off, when all the males are ready, when the females are ready. Just as I was wrapping up, what do we have here? 2 eastern newts, a male and female, courting already. And that's exactly what I was hoping to get on video, but not too far off is another male seeking the same thing. So we'll see what happens. He could interfere, but if you notice, this is what I was talking about before. The male grasping the female almost looked like he's choking her, but that's not the case. This is the amplexus. Oh, there's 2 other males coming. Yeah, they definitely could interfere, but this is the amplexus, where the male grasps her by around the neck area with the hind legs, and that's what those black pads on the feet are for. And then he will fan his tail at her to court her, to fan his pheromones. And look at that. The other male just grasped the other male in hopes of an amplexus here, but he immediately realized it's another male. So, as quick and eager as they are, they will realize one way or the other it's not who they are really trying to seek out here. And yet, here comes along yet another male. There are so many males here, definitely not many females. So I think it's easy to see why the males are in such high competition with one another, why there's such an eagerness to make sure that they can land a female, because there's just seemingly so few around here. In another location nearby, a different pair of eastern newts are found courting and left uninterrupted. The amplexus and courtship process can last for hours, as the male continues to fan his tail at the female. And once the tail fanning is finished, the male will position himself in front of the female. At this point, with her attention still fixated on him, he begins to lay his spermatophore. And this is a critical moment. Any number of distractions could occur before the spermatophore is deposited. Another male or even a predator could interfere at any time, resulting in a disrupted and failed courtship. Time is of the essence, as he leads her along the way to pick up the spermatophore that he will soon deposit. Success. With the spermatophore now deposited, the male now only needs to continue guiding her so that the female can pick up the spermatophore in her cloaca. She walks over the spermatophore and is now in position to pick it up and fertilize her eggs. And now, after only a short moment, the female has indeed picked up the spermatophore. The courtship is a success, and she now uses this opportunity to escape the male's advances. Now I find myself in a completely different terrain. Deep, rugged, mountainous forest, and this is completely in contrast to where we just were before with the adult stage of the eastern newt, right? We had an aquatic habitat, an animal that really depends on the water to eat, to breed and start the next generation of its species. But they also need an adjacent terrestrial habitat, which is what we have here. Very deep, mature forests, and what I will be looking for now is still the same exact animal, and yet it is going to have a completely different appearance altogether. What I'm looking for right now is perhaps the most well-known stage of life. It is none other than the red-effed stage of the eastern newt, and it gets its name because of the bright, vivid red to orange coloration that it possesses. Now the coloration can vary. It can be perhaps just a little bit dull to very saturated. Among the leaves and the moss, the sort of terrain, it stands out because there's nothing else around that is quite like it. Okay, now here we go. This is exactly what I was looking for. Here we go. Look at that. This is, whoa, don't want him to get away. Careful, careful. There we go, look at you. Look at this beautiful animal. This, folks, is the eastern newt. One in the same exact animal that we just previously saw in the water. Can you believe that? Look at the oranges. I'm actually really surprised that I found this animal today because conditions were pretty questionable. Ideal conditions would be rain, of course. The summer showers would absolutely bring out troves of these animals in large numbers. Even though they are completely terrestrial, they definitely need the moisture. And unfortunately, the ground is pretty dry right now. So I'm pretty shocked that I was actually able to find one. I did quite a bit of walking before I even stumbled upon this one here. So I really want to get here before the warmth comes through and just kind of saps away the moisture from the ground. Even during the hotter months like July, August, the earlier you go out to find these animals, the better, because of that morning dew that is present on the leaves and the grass and everything. These animals are toxic. They contain toxins, and if an animal tries to eat this newt, they will get a full-on surprise that will just kind of make it seem like it tastes very, very bad. But this is what got me started on it all. Stumbling upon an eastern newt just like this in the forest, walking around while I was camping when I was little, and just to see such a vibrant, eye-catching animal that is in such stark contrast to the environment that it lives in. It's like, it almost doesn't look real. It looks like a toy almost, but it's not. It's a real animal. They are absolutely incredible. They are so clumsy looking, but they are predators, even if they don't look it. These animals are out on the hunt. And just to think that this animal will transition to the eastern newt aquatic adult that we just saw previously. So I'm going to keep looking around for more of these. I may have to come back, but I really want to also be able to show what happens when a nice rain shower comes through. All right, so I'm back at the location that we were just at previously, where we just saw the red-effed eastern newt. And I'm back here this time because last time I really just got lucky when I found that other one. And I want to find a few more of these. And this time around, the conditions are optimal, actually. There's a nice overcast right now. It's drizzling on and off. The ground is pretty saturated. It just rained a little while ago as well. And it's nice and cool today. But before, it was sunny, and even though it was cool, it was starting to warm up and just kind of sapping all that moisture from the ground, and they just really weren't ideal conditions to find the eastern newt. So today I really should be able to locate quite a few more of these and get another really great look at my favorite animal, the eastern newt, and in particular the red-effed stage of life. My method for finding the red-effed eastern newt may seem haphazard in a way, because I really am still relying on luck, because basically I'm not really flipping things too much. It has been my overall experience that these animals are out walking the forest floor in the open under the right conditions. I am keeping in mind what the weather conditions should be when I go out to look for them. But at this point, my eyes are peeled and looking all around the ground, because these animals should be walking around. At least a few of them should be. And we're gonna see how many I could find, and you're gonna get to see actually how much the coloration can vary as well. And I'm gonna compare this to the effed stage newt that I found a little while back during the spotted salamander migration. So I'm just kind of looking along the edge by the leaves here, and oh, yep, here we go. Yep, right there. Oh, look at that. That is a small one too, but it's so vibrant. Look at that. Jeez. You know, it's just so funny to me how these animals really do vary in coloration. Wow, but this one is so tiny. You know, that is one of the things about these animals that can make them difficult to care for in captivity. Just due to the small size, it just makes getting food a little difficult, but I want to definitely get a better look at this little fella without scaring him off. Alright, well, now what I'm going to do is just move this little fella away from the trail, because the last thing that I want to happen is for someone to come across, pick this guy up. Ooh, and look at what is also paying a visit. That is a wood frog. Very unexpected, but also another beautiful creature. And I'm also being visited by a pretty nice size hornet here, so that's kind of something I want to steer clear of. But you know, coming out here definitely has its risks. You never know really what you're going to find. But let me get this little fella to safety, because I don't want someone else to come and pick up this animal. There you go. There it goes. Perfect start. Really good. Great sign, because that means where there is one, there is definitely more. So it seems like this is just another attempt, unfortunately, that isn't panning out the way that I wanted it to. I've been checking the weather on and off, and every time it updates, it either lowers the chances of rain or it's just pushing it back to a later time during the day. It's calling for about a 70% chance of rain, which would be fantastic if it would actually rain, right? That's just not what's happening here. So, wait a minute. I just spoke way too soon because look what I just found right here. Really, as I was kind of coming to terms with not finding anything for the rest of this trip, look at this one. Another really vibrant one. Kind of chubby too. Nice size. A lot bigger than the other one. Oh, I love these animals. I really do. And that definitely caught me by surprise. I think I sounded pretty funny when I saw that one, but that's okay. This is exactly what these animals kind of do to me. It really just brings out really the time when I first found these as a kid. I want to compare these to the newts that I found at the salamander migration with the spotted salamanders, right? Because these are completely different. Both, I would say, I mean, especially this is obviously a red eft, but the other newt that I found a few months back was definitely the size of an eft, the age of an eft, and yet it was in the water. And that's a pretty big difference in behavior, because Eastern newts at this stage of life are hydrophobic. They don't swim, right? They can actually drown in the water. Eastern newts that I saw during the migration pretty much had coloration that was more reminiscent of an adult. So that leads me to suspect the possibility that maybe they were neotenic, meaning that sort of behavior and coloration does make me wonder if that's exactly what happened, right? That it skipped this red eft stage completely and ended up just kind of going through some neotenic features for a certain period of time until it lost the gills completely, along with the paddle-like tail. I was really pleasantly surprised by those two red eft Eastern newts. Now that I've been heading back to my car, it decided to rain pretty heavily and I was pretty much ready to pack it in. Look at that. This is what I want to see. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Another Eastern newt. And this is why I needed that rain. This trip is definitely turning out to be much more productive than I initially thought that it would be. The conditions that I was given were almost optimal, and then it really just started to kind of peter out from there. The back and forth swing between the weather that I need and not, you know, it's just all really unexpected. But another really beautiful Eastern newt, and this is panning out really in a way that I just didn't expect at all. Oh, another one. Look at that. Now, you see this one here is definitely not as vibrant, right? But still sticks out, still very much in contrast to the rest of the leaves and everything. Oh, and another one right here. Yeah, look at that. This is crazy. This is exactly what I was saying. This is what the rain does for these animals. This is what it does. It drives them out into the open. And also this one is a little bit, I think, similar coloration to the one that's just right behind me. So you can definitely get a good idea at how coloration can vary even among the red eft stage as well. You know, I didn't even travel far from where I just found it, right? That Eastern newt that I just recorded is kind of just right next to that branch over there. And look at what we got right here. Another one. Look at the spots on this one too. Look how beautiful this is. Oh, wow. This is a really, really nice looking one. These animals are everywhere right now. This one has some really, really, really nice coloration. Yeah, wow, this is exciting. So I think I just spotted another one. Is that a newt? Yes, it is. That's another newt. That is another one. Oh, this one's definitely skittish. But that is another one. I mean, how many did I just find in, what, I think maybe 10 minutes? I think after finding all of those red-effed Eastern newts, I think this is a good place to wrap up this portion of the documentary. Because this whole trip today panned out in a way that I really was not expecting or thinking would even happen. I was definitely ready to pack it in, go home, and I was actually going to plan just another trip to make this happen. I'm glad I stuck around because look at what I was able to find, right? I found a ton of Eastern newts today, and that rain really helped to drive them out. I would say I was pretty lucky to find the first one. I definitely timed it better with conditions that were more optimal than the previous time that I came here, because this time we had an overcast, cooler conditions, and it had rained earlier, so the moisture hadn't evaporated from the ground. This definitely panned out in a way that was absolutely wonderful. I got to see, well, I'll have to go back and count. I really wasn't even counting, but definitely a lot of them. And you know, that's really what my experience was as a child, going camping and wandering off into the forest and then just seeing this bright, vibrant animal that has a coloration that contrasts against the greens, the browns, and quite frankly, these animals are so easy to miss, I think, even as much as they do stand out. Because if you're not looking for them at all, you could definitely stumble upon them, but they really do come out more so during a time where people aren't out here hiking, right? Who wants to come walking out in the rain, getting drenched? I would. I just did. But that's what I love to do. Rain for me is not a downer. It is a time for me to see the animal that has sparked my love for salamanders. So I'm gonna just head back to my car. I think this is a really great place to wrap up this portion of the documentary. And I think next, what I want to take a look at in hopefully an in-depth manner, I want to take a look at the beginning stage of the Eastern newt to capture the full story of this animal. And we're going to look at the larval stage. Okay, so I'm out at a spot that I have featured on my channel quite a few times, and it's taken a few years to make this documentary because I was missing one last piece of the puzzle here, which was the larval Eastern newt. And I had said at my last trip, this was I think maybe actually 2 years ago at this point, I was looking for red F stage newts, and I was going to go set out to find the larval stage. The problem is I have searched and searched. I've traveled across my state. I have driven an hour to an hour and a half away to find these larval newts, and I have found the adults. I have found the F stage newts in the locations that I have gone, which of course means that there would be larvae somewhere in the area, and obviously where the adults should be larva should be as well at some point after the eggs have hatched. And honestly, no luck. Until just now in the least likely spot. And this is a place that's actually 10 minutes close to home, and I'm actually in disbelief. So we're gonna take a look at the beginning stage of the eastern newt. I had to run back to my car, but that's my net right there. That's how I know it's an eastern newt. I already got a really good look at it, 100% confirmed that there are eastern newt larvae in this pool here. It's pretty crazy because this pool is drying up, and you can see actually where the water line is right here. That's it. That's how deep this usually is, and that's how much it has evaporated. And well, let me stop talking because in this net, 100% confirmed, we have an eastern newt larva. So let's get a good look at this. And I want to do this hopefully with as little stress as possible to the newt, because it's going to be hard to get it into water and get a good look, but we'll try that as well. But look at this. That is it. That is the eastern newt larva. And the way we can confirm that stripe going right across the eye, that's how we know. And yes, it does have gills. So I'm actually going to get it into water anyway and see if the water clears up and we can get a good look at this beautiful animal, my favorite animal, the eastern newt. And here, for the first time ever, I was finally able to land not just one larval stage eastern newt, but dozens. And to stumble upon these in the least likely of places, it was just simply astounding to me that they've been here close to home the entire time. And what makes things even more interesting is that I've never actually seen any adult stage eastern newts in this location at all. And so it still remains to be seen where exactly the adults are actually coming from to get to this pool and lay their eggs. And the eggs themselves would actually be very difficult to find, since they're very, very small and carefully wrapped individually in aquatic plants and leaves. And we can see here clearly with these close-ups, not only do we have that same stripe going across the eye that we can see in the adult stage, but the olive coloration that is also similar to the adult is present here as well. And we can even see a faint row of spots coming in along the body. And these colors will continue to develop and deepen as these larval stage newts come closer to metamorphosis, losing their gills and moving on to land to become an eft and begin the next chapter of the story of the eastern newt.